What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, and I want to thank everybody that's watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to Too Raw for TV, please subscribe to Too Raw for TV. If you haven't hit that notification button, please hit that notification button so that you'll be notified of any and every video that drops on my channel as soon as it drops. If you like or at least appreciate the content on my channel, please hit that like button. These are things that help not only my channel, but other channels in the LDBC, in this case the Lions Den basketball community, be that much stronger. If you want to show love for Too Raw for TV, you want to contribute to Raw for TV, you can do so in the links in the description box below via the PayPal or the Cash App. But I would much prefer you to come over to the Patreon for only $2 per month. I know people got stuff to pay. I'd like to thank everybody that signed up to the Patreon so far. It's over 50 people now, getting close to 60, I think. So I'd like to thank everybody that signed up to the Patreon. But if you love the content on this channel, if you really like Too Raw for TV, come over to the Patreon, because over on the Patreon, we talk about stuff I can't talk about on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So, having said that, and I will do a Patreon video later on today, by the way. But having said that, I got to do a milestone video for LeBron James. Now, look, I understand that a lot of people on my channel, they don't like LeBron James. So a lot of people mistake my channel as a hate channel because I don't always put out videos praising everybody. You know what I'm saying? I guess I could be considered a Giannis fanboy, I guess, because most of my videos are pro Bucks or pro Giannis that when I talk about Milwaukee. But, you know, I have a saying, it's something I saw on a political site and I agree with it. But mine is the flip. I saw a saying that goes, I don't worship a concept, I follow a king. I'm the opposite. I worship a concept, I don't follow a king. Okay? I'm not a fan of any individual person. I believe in ideas and formulas and philosophies. I like to look at the bigger picture rather than one person. So when you do that, you're going to be looked at as a hater, because you can be, when you're objective about somebody. See, people who call me a hater, they see the videos where I'm critical of LeBron James, but they don't see the ones, or pretend not to see the ones because they don't suit their agenda. They don't see the ones where I'm praising him. They magically, or they'll just say, oh, he's doing that to be, throw you off, but he really don't. Look, man, it's not that deep. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. That's what really upsets me when people say this shit, because honestly, I don't give a fuck if you think I'm a hater or not. If you think I'm one, so be it. Fuck you. It's that easy. Okay? Don't look at my videos. But anyway, I got off my point. I know a lot of people who follow my channel don't like LeBron James. But look, and I know that because oftentimes the videos when I'm praising LeBron gets the least amount of likes. They're like, man, I ain't liking this shit, man. Like on this bitch praising LeBron, man. Fuck this nigga, man. Nigga supposed to be praising the enemy. He's not my enemy, man. I just don't worship him. I don't worship any of these dudes. My days of worshiping players are gone. I don't feel a need to defend any of these guys, really, except for the ones who I think are getting slighted. But give praise to this man. Okay? Look, whether you like LeBron James or not is irrelevant. You got to give this guy props for his longevity and playing the level he's playing in his 17th season. We've only seen one guy, and that's Kobe Bean Bryant, play at that level in his 17th season. Even Kareem and Karl Malone, they're putting up good numbers, but they won't put up numbers like this. Like Kareem, I think his 17 year was putting up like 23 points, 6 rebounds, maybe a block and a half or something, on 56% shoot. Excellent numbers for a guy that's 39 years old. Karl Malone was putting like 22 and 8 or 22 and 9 in his 17th season. maybe like close to 50% shooting. Excellent numbers. But LeBron is putting up numbers that most guys would dream of in their primes. He's leading the NBA in assists. All right. This would have to be the latest in a career that a player has initially led the NBA in assists for the first time. In his 17th season, I don't think any guy's ever done that late in his career to do it for the first time. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think if there's any guy that's led the NBA in assists that late in his career, period. John Stockton's last year leading the NBA in assists, I believe, was the 95-96 season, which would have been his 12th year. I think that was the last year that he led the NBA in assists. I think he had a stretch from I want to say it might have been 88 to 96 or something like that when he led the NBA in assists. Before that, it was mostly Magic. I think one year was Isaiah Thomas. And before Magic, I think it might have been like Kevin Porter, who led the NBA in assists a lot. But yeah, for him to do this in his 17th season, remarkable. Anyway, LeBron James is just, I think, 8 assists shy of passing Gary Payton on the all-time assist board. Assist leaders, I guess I should say. Earlier this year, he passed Andre Miller. And now he's about to pass in their game. Unless he has one of those games where he doesn't get a lot of assists. And I kind of think, knowing LeBron James and how he feels about records, he's going to do it. In the next game against Milwaukee Bucks, he should pass Gary Payton. I think Gary's at 8,000. I think Gary's at 8,966 career assists. And Gary Payton, I believe, played 17 years in the NBA. So, look at the all-time leaders. LeBron James is 10th all-time. Gary Payton is 9th. So, once he passed Gary Payton, he moves into 9th place. Gary Payton goes down to 10th place. After that, there's Isaiah Thomas at number 8 at 9,061. And he will pass, barring injury, Isaiah Thomas not too far into the future. All right, maybe sometime either late this month or, well, actually probably sometime early next month, I'm thinking. Chris Paul, who's active, is number 7. Now, I don't know if he's going to pass Chris Paul, but he's going to seriously close the gap between him and Chris Paul. But this is where it gets interesting. At the rate that LeBron's playing, I don't see him retiring anytime soon, barring a serious injury. But this is where it gets interesting. Chris Paul is still active. But I think eventually LeBron James is going to pass him in assists. I think eventually. Maybe not. We'll see. But if LeBron plays another 2 or 3 seasons, right, and he plays 70 games or something like that a year, he's going to pass Oscar Robertson, who's at 6th place at 9,887. All right, he's going to pass Oscar. And eventually, most likely, he's going to pass Magic Johnson, Mark Jackson, and Steve Nash. Now, Jason Kidd and John Stockton, who's number 2, that's a little bit more debatable. We have to see how things play out with that. But I bring it up to make a point. LeBron James recently grabbed his 9,000th career rebound. All right? He recently grabbed his 9,000th career rebound. And he's only 300 and some points away from Kobe Bryant, 370 something points away. So he's going to pass Kobe Bryant this year in scoring and become the 3rd all-time leading scorer in league history. So by next year, barring injury. You always have to say that. He's going to become the first player in the history of NBA to have over 30,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists. Now you can make the argument, yeah, but you play in the LeBron James system, and as long as he playing, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but I could also say, if Michael Jordan never retired, he'd be the all-time leading scorer. But it's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas. Okay, I do fervently believe if Jordan never retired and he played 19 years nonstop, he'd be the all-time leading scorer, and I think he would blow away everybody. But he didn't. LeBron James has continued to play at a high level for almost close to 2 decades. That has to be acknowledged. Okay? That has to be acknowledged. I'm gonna make a comparison with baseball. Okay? If you were to ask me who's the better baseball player, Hank Aaron or Willie Mays, I would say overall, although they were both great, great, great Hall of Fame players, I think Willie Mays was the better overall player. But you know what? Although Willie Mays played a long time as well, I think from 1951 to like 1973 or something like that, the last 3 years of his career, he was a shell of himself. When he was playing with the Mets, he was a broken down shell of a player who was masquerading as Willie Mays. Hank Aaron, on the other hand, played well almost until his last season. He was in his 40s and still putting up pretty good numbers, still hitting like 290 with 23 home runs or 90 RBI, and he was in his 40s. He aged well. He played for a very long time in an era where they didn't have the modern day training or supplements that we have today. So although I think Willie Mays is the better player, I think Hank Aaron had the better ending in his career. He was the more durable player. You can make that comparison with maybe LeBron versus other guys of his era, or LeBron with other all-time greats. Larry Bird, I think, is on par with LeBron when it comes to the conversation of GOAT and small forward. But only a fool would sit there and argue about the longevity argument between Bird and LeBron. Larry Bird did not have nearly the longevity of LeBron James did. So the fact that LeBron James, wherever he ends in his career, he could conceivably be the all-time leading NBA scorer. He could conceivably be, when everything's done, second all-time in assists. And he could conceivably be, when everything is done, right? When everything is done, I'm going to check something out right quick. He could be top, 40 in rebounding when everything is said and done. Patrick Ewing is 25th at 11,607. I don't know if he'll get that high, but he's going to probably at least get another 1,500 rebounds. At least. You know what I'm saying? And that's if he, depending on how long he plays. Look, man. After a certain point, you're going to start sounding like a hater if you don't put LeBron at least in your top. Like now, I have to put LeBron in my top 10. I was making the case for Tim Duncan and keeping the respect for him, but at this point, it's sort of asinine to keeping LeBron out of your top 10. And even if you think that Kobe Bryant was a better player peak for peak, after a while, the cumulative numbers that LeBron James put up, you have to kind of have to at least, even if you're a staunch Kobe guy, you have to start wondering, like, can I put LeBron ahead of Kobe? I mean, not necessarily as a basketball, maybe not people sometimes be like, well, Kobe did more with less, or Kobe was a killer. Kobe was, this and in the clutch, and LeBron, shies away from certain moments. But after a while, you have to look at the level of production this guy's putting up over his career. And I understand the arguments that Skip Bayless and some of these other guys make. He folds in the clutch. He's lost too many finals. He's a stat patter. The system he's played in for most of his career helped him to achieve these numbers. Look, I get all those arguments, man. I hear you. But at the end of the day, he did it. Okay? He did it. Was Nolan Ryan the greatest pitcher of all time? Probably not. But he's the most prolific pitcher of all time. He played 27 seasons, and his strikeouts record, nobody's going to come close to it. The closest anybody's going to come to that is probably Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens and those guys. They couldn't do it. Nolan Ryan was that dude, okay? Nolan Ryan was that guy that was able to play for damn near 30 years and one of probably the most physically demanding positions in baseball, that and catcher. And he was able to play that damn long, at that position. LeBron James is a once-in-a-lifetime player. And despite the overall hype that he got coming in from high school, he's exceeded expectations. And you have to give him that. You have to give LeBron James his credit. I understand a lot of people don't like him. I know the media can make you go insane with the way they kissed this man's ass sometimes. I understand Nick Wright. I hate him my damn self. Look, I hate Nick Wright. Okay? I don't like him. And I don't even know the guy, and I fucking don't like him. Chris Broussard gets on my fucking nerves. All right? But at the end of the day, you have to give LeBron James his credit. All right? I know you're not going to do it. I know the comments. Man, this dude's a stat pattern, man. You might be fooled by ESPN, but I see the truth. Man. He's a stat pattern. Yeah, it wasn't for AD, LeBron wouldn't be in the playoffs hunt right now. The league looks out for LeBron. Look, man, I see those arguments, man. I remember 20 years ago, there was a lot of people who, at least in my school, who couldn't stand Michael Jordan. I remember one time I was at the bus stop, right? And this is like the Bulls 72 win season. And there was a dude, I think he was a Pistons fan, right? For back in the day. He was a little older than us. Like I think at that time we were in 10th grade, and he was a senior. And he said, we was talking about Jordan, like, man, Jordan the best, man. Yeah, man, I think Jordan the best player ever, man. I think, I back down, I was like, man, I think he's between him and Wilt, man, but, he's the GOAT, man. I think he's the best player right now, definitely. He reclaiming that throne. And the dude had this salty look on his face, man. He had this real, salty look on his face. He said, Jordan ain't shit, nigga. What are you talking about? He said, man, Jordan's right here, man. I shoot that nigga right in his motherfucking head. I said, what? Man, fuck that nigga. But see, that's what the media hype will do to you. If you already don't like somebody and the media hype, you hear it every fucking day, it's going to slowly turn from you just liking the player to you hating that motherfucker. You just fucking hate him with a passion. That's what happened to J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover was a FBI director, fucking rancid racist, man. Hated black people with a passion. And he hated how the media kissed Dr. King's ass. But you know what the final straw was for him? The final straw was when King won that Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, he couldn't help himself. He had to have someone dictate a letter that he read off, and the other guy wrote it. And he wrote it under anonymous, it was under anonymous, but J. Edgar Hoover wrote it. And in the letter, he persuaded King to kill himself. That he was a fraud and a baboon and all this other shit. That's what that hateration will do to you. When other people don't share their hatred toward your object of hate, oh man, that's the worst. So, I'm not gonna say I'm not exempt to this shit. I don't like James Harden's game. But when the media calls him the greatest scorer of all time, and the other day, James Harden started the game 1 for 11, and the guy said, "Well, a rare bad start for James Harden." Like, rare? Nigga, he's missing 56% of his shots for the season. What the fuck are you talking about? A rare bad start. So, it is what it is, man. But shout out to LeBron James. Say whatever it is you like.